Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Neha Sultana Narayanpet. So, in today's video, we are going to, discuss about Sylvia Plath's, selected poems. Okay, so I am surrounded with so many books already. Okay, as you can see, so we have Ted Hughes and John Donne and Sons and Lovers, and we have William Golding's Lord of the Flies. Okay, and then we have Bacon essays, and we have William Hazlitt selected essays here, and then uh, this book, A History of English Literature. So, this book that I have purchased during my bachelor's of arts. Okay, that time I had my optional as English. So, because of that reason, uh, I had to purchase this book because this book is very important for your bachelor's of arts, which is of 3 years of duration to complete that degree. Okay, so it completes, it gives overall, you know overview of the Puritan age or the age of Milton, the Restoration period, and here the age of Pope, and the age of Dr. Johnson, or the age of transition. Okay, and then moving on to the Romantic age, and then we have the Victorian age here, and then yes, the modern age. Okay, so like this, this book is very important for the BA students. Okay, and yes, and next we have the Pride and Prejudice book. This is one of the most interesting book that I have here with me, and the second best book in my shelf is The Old Man in the Sea. Okay, and here I guess, yeah, one more book, that is BK Borison's okay, this In the Weeds book. Okay, and next we have The Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw, and then we have Oliver Twist, Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist. Okay, so these are the books that I have collected during my bachelor's of arts plus masters of arts. Okay, so these much of books that I have collected. Okay, but today we are going to discuss only about Sylvia Plath because I'm a huge fan of her works. Okay, and I really like her work, and especially the death literature that she has written. And so this is the book by Narayans. Okay, Narayans, Lakshmi Narayan Agarwal. So here, wait, yes. So in the contents, we have first, three chapters here: Sylvia Plath and her age, and then the life and works of Sylvia Plath, and then Sylvia Plath as a poet, that is into chronology. Okay, and then we have the selected poems. Okay, which is subtitled as a critical study of Sylvia Plath's selected poems. Okay, so this is one of the finest poem, I guess, among all her other poems. So the first one is Daddy, and the second one is Lady Lays Russ. Okay, and the third one is The Applicant, and the fourth one is The Morning Song, which is also known as Good Morning Motherhood. Okay, and the fifth one is Aerial Ecstasy, and the sixth one is Fever 103 degree, and the seventh one is Arrival of the Bee Box. Okay, and the eighth one is Gulliver, and the ninth one is Night and Dances, and the 10th one is The Rival. Okay, and the 11th poem is about widow, And the 12th one is one of my uh, favorite. Okay, that is the beekeeper's daughter. And the 13th one is Tulip's readiness is all. Okay, and the 14th one is Medusa. Okay, and then there are some question and answers. Okay, and at last Sylvia Plath's some considerations are there in this book. And then we have bibliography. Okay, so here, yeah, we are not going to read about Sylvia Plath. I just want to, read one of her uh, one of her poems. And I would like to start with Daddy. Okay, yes, it's on page number 33. So here, here is we have some introduction regarding the poem Daddy. So this poem was, composed by Sylvia Plath, as we all know, in October 1962. So during the last phase, she had become disillusioned with love and Ted Hughes. Okay, she had relation with Ted Hughes. Okay, by, I don't know why there is some darkness in this room. I will figure out some thing for this darkness later, okay, in the next video. Yeah, by this time, Ted Hughes has separated himself from Sylvia Plath. And after their marriage in 1956, Ted Hughes and Plath lived in America for some time. Okay, so yes, yeah, both of them stayed for like 2 years up to 1959. And and yes, later on they developed a hostility for each other. By that time, Sylvia Plath had been blessed with 2 children. Okay, and she began to live in a separate house in London. Their relations, become as estranged that she committed suicide in 1963. Okay, the suicide was the result of her, embittered feelings and frustration. It was just, before such a tragic condition that she wrote the poem Daddy. Okay, and so in this poem, I don't think the introduction need a explanation because it is written in very simple way, so that you guys can understand, I guess. If you don't understand, then let me know. Okay, so yes, in this poem, Plath deals with the theme of father's fixation. Okay, Plath has preserved the memory of her dead father for a very long time. That she felt the need to get rid of him. And here, Daddy is the most terrible and the blackest of her poems. So with this we can understand that her relation with her father is not on good terms. Okay, so, yes, her father, Otto Plath, a German by nationality. So, his father is basically from, the person who is from German, and he holds a German nationality. Okay, and he was a great scholar of biology and German language, versed in classical languages. And Plath's parents were Australian other, and the she worshipped him like a hero. So her father's death in 1942 was her first ever encounter with death. All her life she remained obsessed with death in some form of some form or the other. So it so it was the first death that she encountered with her bare eyes, that she can experience it. Whose death was her father's death. Okay, it was her father's death. Then she had a she had a, colossal admiration and deep faith in her father. She felt, unbelievably attracted towards death, because, she felt that she could join her father by gateway of death. So she also thought that she could get rid of the weary demands of her frustrated life. And her father is always present as a worshipful deity in her poetry. Sometimes she's angry with him, or sometimes she's pleased with him. So this is the kind of relation she had with her father. Okay, so in this poem, Daddy, the father figure is modeled on Otto Plath. Otto Plath, who is Otto Plath here? Otto Plath is the father of Sylvia Plath. Okay, she portrays her father larger than actual life. Let me tell you one thing. I don't know why my hand is trembling here. I don't know. Okay, and in this poem, yeah. Oh God. So in this poem, there is mixture of love and hate for her father. So this is the this is a thing we can experience it in this poem called Daddy. Okay, so the first four stanzas gives us the emotions of Sylvia Plath towards her father. Like it starts like, you do not do anymore, black shoe. It's a very interesting poem, I must tell you. I don't know why. So here, in which I have lived like a foot for 30 years, poor and white, barely daring to breathe or achoo. Daddy, I have had to kill you. You died before I had time. Marble heavy, a bag full of God, ghastly statue with one great toe, big as a fresco seal, and a head in the freakish Atlantic, where it pours being green over blue. In the waters of beautiful Nauset, I used to pray to recover you, Achdu. In the in the German tongue, in the Polish town, scrapped flat by the roller of wars. But the name of the town is common, my Polak friend. So here, the origin of the poem Daddy, okay, let's talk about this a bit. So here, Sylvia Plath, wrote the poem Daddy on October 13, 1962. So if anyone of you are, is about to write the net exam, yeah, I have heard that it is not very important to keep keep it in your mind all the dates, okay, because it will be very confusing if you do that. So okay, so moving on, as I said earlier, that Sylvia Plath wrote the poem Daddy on October 13, 1962, which was broadcast by BBC along with Lady Lazarus. If you know what BBC, then do let me know in the comment section, okay? It was published in the magazine Encounter on October 4, 1963. Okay, it was later on published in various magazines such as the New Poetry and Time magazine. Afterwards, it was included in the volume Ariel under the title Poems by the Sylvia Plath. Okay, so yes, so what this paragraph tells that this poem was written on October 13 in 1962, and it so this poem was broadcasted by BBC along with Lady Lazarus. That is also another poem. Okay, so it was first published in the magazine. So this poem was first published in the magazine Encounter. Okay, and on October 4, 1963. Okay, yeah. Yeah, and then moving on to the next text paragraph, sorry, that is the most famous and popular poem of Plath. The reputation of Plath as a poet mainly rests on this poem. Okay, so this poem is often compete with Picasso's graphic painting. Okay, so I think that's it for today's video. And if you found this video helpful, then do let me know in the comment section.